we try to orient the book for a more general interest audience, but we do have, in some ways, a little bit of a, sort of theory development perspective too. And this is around the idea of how early leaders in countries have an enduring influence on the institutions, on the culture, and you can see. So there's a variety of studies in this idea of sort of imprinting, which actually originally is from the bioecology literature and Konrad Lorenz, but it's been applied in sociology, psychology, some in economics to really understand, sort of how and why early leaders continue to have an effect. And so, I'll talk a bit about how sort of our research helps inform that. Okay. So I'll say a little bit about sort of how we unpack sort of if you think about this idea of imprinting, and then Mao is really not the founder of the CCP, but an influential early leader, and then really the sort of founding president of the People's Republic of China. A variety of reasons why his ideas still continue to resonate today with people in China. So one is education and socialization. So of course, of the 100 million almost people that join the CCP, they sort of go through a variety of, maybe some of you have done this, sort of classes, workshops, watching documentaries, reading, writing, having mentors, et cetera, that actually, really helps you, help socialize you into this party. But also, there is other channels as well whereby it affects the entire population. So one of those is education. One of the other reasons why I wanted to sort of thought about doing this set of research is, so immediately before I was at Cambridge, I was at Cornell in the United States, and I was on an admissions panel at Cornell of for a PhD program that I was part of. And I was scanning some applications on my computer one day, and I came over a Chinese transcript, and it had, sort of Mao Zedong 𝗘𝗃𝗲𝘁, like sort of, Mao thought as a class the student had taken. I said, that's a really interesting class for a student to be taking. And I looked, and it was like a required class, and I looked at the student actually taking two different levels of it as a required class. And I looked at the other Chinese students' transcripts, and they had taken the same thing. And after talking to a variety of Chinese friends, they said, yeah, so throughout our schooling, we are taking a variety of ideological classes. This probably isn't surprising to many of you. We don't believe them, they say, but, or at least the people that I talk to, we don't believe them. They're the sort of things we're not interested in, but still they take them. And I think about it a little bit. Like, when I grew up, my family's religious background is Catholic, and so I used to have to go on Sundays. Didn't like going, but I think still it has a deep influence on me that I've actually studied and learned about these things. Also, tourism, during the 100th in media 100th anniversary of the CCP, which just was in 2021. Hearing about all the different movies, television programs around the revolutionary period, around Mao, around a variety of leaders, this is continually communicating, and even things like, red tourism, which, you probably, some of you have maybe, been to some of these different sites of the revolutionary history of China that are, celebrated tourist locations. So a number of years ago, probably 8 or 9 years ago, I was actually doing a study of a company in Changsha in Hunan province, which is not that far from Mao's hometown, maybe a 2 to 3 hour drive, his hometown of Shaoshan. And I went there. It was really interesting. I'm someone who is really interested in history. Actually, I was in a PhD program in history at some point in the past, and I've been, in the U.S. to places like Monticello and Mount Vernon. Those are, sort of Monticello is Thomas Jefferson's home. Mount Vernon, George Washington's, and you go there and they're pretty, not very vibrant, active places. Very nerdy type of people are there, like myself, I guess. Going to going to Mao's hometown. It was I was telling someone this, and they said, that sounds like Graceland. It was more like Graceland, actually, which, if you don't know, is Elvis's, hometown. It's or home. Hugely overrun with people, markets, people, hawking a variety of Mao products, from sort of plates to statues. I actually have in my office at Cambridge a Mao statue that I purchased. There, has a stamp of Shaoshan on it, so I know I got it in his hometown. Anyway, so there's a lot of ways that these ideas that continue to be enforced.